So a lot of you have already kind of given me a lot, some questions ahead of time, and I want to address that. And if you have questions, just pop them in the comments section there and I'll try to get to them. But one of the first questions I received are, what are the first signs of perimenopause and how do you know when it starts? And that's actually a very good question because, so first let's put this together. I didn't even know the word perimenopause until I was in it. So we always hear the idea of menopause. Menopause, ironically, is only the one day where you're one full year without your period. Then after that one day is called menopause. The next day, you're postmenopausal. But prior to your no longer having your period for a year, that period is called perimenopause. And so perimenopause can occur for most women in their 40s up to their 60s. Menopause, like I said, is that 1 year after your final menstrual period. And that typically happens between ages 50 to 52, but it can also happen between 45 and 60. Perimenopause is that gradual transition, that span of many years, and that can last 10 to 15 years prior to your last menses. I hope I'm not getting you all confused with this. But not everyone has bothersome perimenopausal symptoms. About 75% of women actually do. And the factors that affect that could be your lifestyle, it could be your genetics, it could be your habits. Like I said earlier, it could be surgery or even some medication can actually onset perimenopause for you. And your symptoms can fluctuate. They can fluctuate daily, they can fluctuate monthly due to the erratic hormone production that's going on in your bodies. A lot of times we focus in on our hot flashes, and we experience our hot flashes differently. For me personally, I only experience them at night. And it wasn't like the night sweats where I was dripping sweat, where someone will actually have to change their clothing. Mine was like, give me a fan and put it in my face. And it would be like this kind of volcanic feeling within yourself. It's not like so much external heat, it like rises from within you. And then it feels like it's kind of bursting outward, and it lasts maybe a few minutes and it's done. But we all experience our hot flashes differently. And it can be actually affected by your diet. It can be affected by your environment. Also, too, early symptoms of perimenopause could be poor sleep, low libido, vaginal dryness is also a big factor, your mood issues. When I was going through perimenopause, I realized it was much different from, like, say, PMS. And I had to talk to my husband saying, like, I don't mean to be mean to you. I have no idea why I am. Please don't take any offense, but let's talk through it. Probably what my parents were not doing, but let's talk through this so that our relationship is not affected by us. But it is my hormonal changes that all of a sudden I've got these big mood swings. Weight gain is huge as well, where we start to feel like we're getting a lot of weight just concentrated more around our belly area. Joint pain, I think I mentioned low libido. And then a good indicator too is when your menstrual cycle is kind of varied. Like sometimes you'll get a period every 3 months, right? And then it might be light, or the next time it might be heavy. So these erratic periods are a good indicator too that you're within perimenopause. Yeah, Meg, emotional regulation. Yeah, it's kind of extreme. You can get pretty irritable, and that's why I feel like leaning on your practice of yoga is a good way for you to just kind of calm the mind down, whether you use it for meditation or breathing techniques, or just simply getting on your mat to move, to kind of release a lot of that anger or the emotions that are welling up inside of you. So another question I received: what's the number one thing women can do in their 30s and their 40s to prepare for perimenopause? First of all, I think just educating yourself like this in a program. Maybe reading the books, like I said, How to Menopause, watch that show that Oprah's got coming up. I mean, there's so many things to prepare yourself for this. You have to be acutely aware. Like, I was not aware in my 40s. When I started to experience some signs of perimenopause, I was just excusing it for other things. Because you just don't think that you thought menopause is happening like way later on. And there's no way that's going to happen in your 40s, but there are small indicators. But if you're going to look out for it, I think it's really important to address the low-hanging fruit. So your social connection, think about a balanced nutritional diet, your activity, think about reducing your stress. It's very helpful to avoid smoking and minimizing your alcohol intake. Another thing to point out, when you're in your 40s too, you can still get pregnant even though you're in perimenopause. So something to just be aware of, right? I already had my kid. I don't know if I actually have another one in my 40s, but all right. So another one. I wonder if Jenny has tips on styles and types of yoga that might be most supportive as we navigate this time. I tend to love stronger power practices, but I'm wondering if I should implement any changes. So yoga asanas that incorporate strength, balance, flexibility, and focusing more on your core or your pelvic floor are important during this time. I'm not saying skip your power yoga. I think it's important for you to just be aware of your body. Heated practices, I know on obviously we're all practicing on the Inner Dimension community website app. So we're not in a heated room, but if you do practice, like say in a heated studio, I'd say just be very aware that extra heat can be, I don't know what the right word for it. It can be a little bit too much for your body because we're also generating a lot of extra heat ourselves. But again, it might be okay for you, and that's perfectly fine. I added more strength practices in the last 10 years of my between perimenopause and postmenopause, and that has actually made a big difference in my practice and in my body. And it's important for you to actually add strength practices into your regimen, exercise regimen, because of how our hormones will affect our joints, our skeleton, our bones, and such. So it's important for us to just practice more mindfully. I think too, also practicing meditation and pranayama is so essential during this time, because that's what I leaned on heavily in order to feel more balanced in my body, or to kind of clear my mind from all the internal judgment I was going through, to kind of let go of a lot of the embarrassment I was going through, and to be more in tune with my body and accept my body for what was going on, because this is such a huge transitional period that in the past, it's always been kind of not talked about and shoved underneath the rug, where now it's a time where we should be more open about it. And that means being more internal about it as well too, just really accepting where we are. Kathleen says, while in postmenopausal, I was lucky to find an excellent osteopathic gynecologist. She doesn't throw chemicals to help with hormones. I think that's great too. So I'm not a doctor, I'm going to put that out there, and like everybody experiences perimenopause, postmenopause differently. For me personally, I am not on HRT, and I chose that only because of being on that copper IUD without hormones for about 10 years. And so I felt like, and now I'm like 2-3 years postmenopausal, I felt like I'm okay. I don't need additional hormones to feel balanced. And if I do, then I'll go seek it. But right now, 2-3 years in postmenopausal, I don't feel like I need it. And maybe that's Kathleen has found out too, that she's been able to balance out hormones without having so much have chemicals in your body to do so, or to help regulate yourself. I just use a vaginal, it's called estradiol or estradiol, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it's not systemic, and it's and that helps me, especially when it comes to vaginal dryness, and mostly for that. So it just makes you feel better down there without too much TMI. But I don't feel like I need anything systemic. But again, everybody's different, and I would look into it. I did look into it, and I just felt like it wasn't for me. But I would look into hormone replacement therapy and see if that actually would help you out, because we all experience perimenopause, menopause differently. So going back to that question about what types of yoga, meditative stress reduction, and to reduce your stress. It's important to adjust your practice accordingly, and also know that more is not necessarily better in perimenopause, and gentle practices are probably even best at this time. So another question I received is, how can yoga help with hot flashes and temperature regulation? So I do have a class in my program that addresses hot flashes, and it is a more restorative type practice that focuses more on your breath, because the breath is an essential way to calm you down outside than having a fan in your face. Hot flashes are a complex biochemical reaction that affects the temperature regulation system in your brain. And you don't have to have like these dramatic presentations, like I said, like hot, like night sweats, or, you know, you see some women or something like on TV or movies where they're really going through something. It doesn't have to be so huge for you to have hot flashes. The role of hot flashes is mild and is very intermittent, and physical activity and heat can actually increase your hot flash frequency and its intensity. But again, everyone is different, and listening to your body is best. You should always stay hydrated, drinking a lot more water. I actually added electrolytes into my daily routine. I take that every morning, and that has helped. I would choose maybe slower paced, non-heated classes to whenever you feel like you're overheated in your body. And also too, if it feels like your hot flashes are out of control, again, go back and discuss it with your medical provider, and maybe they can provide any treatment or medications like, say, estrogen to help regulate any hot flashes that you might have. But I do have a practice in the program that might be effective for you. I really enjoyed having to be a little bit more in my breath to kind of calm everything down and cool my body off. Particular breath called Shitali or Sitari. Jennifer, let me see what you say. I am perimenopausal and on natural progesterone cream, trying to move through it all naturally, but I'm having a lot of problems with pelvic pain, and it has inhibited my practice. First of all, yeah, I'm sorry for that, but it's typical for us to have additional joint pain, especially in the pelvis, but slower practices will help during this time. I would increase collagen intake. I don't know if that has been advised to you. I do take collagen protein powder every day, and that seems to have really helped with not just my skin, but also with my joints, my muscles, and everything like that. Yeah, good, Jennifer. I'm glad that you actually added that in. Give that some time to kind of kick into your body. Consistency is so important, so add that every day into your diet, and then maybe that your pelvic pain or any joint pain will be alleviated at some time. I agree with you. Taking it the natural route is a good way to kind of test and see. And this whole time, I'm telling you, during this period of time, it's testing and seeing. You may have to test and see, like, do I need more progesterone? Do I need more estrogen? Do I need more testosterone? And unfortunately, that's the process you have to go through in order to find out what your body can accept and what will work out for you. Jen has cysts on your ovaries that come and go, and they take hormones, but I just can't. Yeah, like I said, I'm not here to give you medical advice, but just some sort of guidance and things that work for me. But listen to your body and just kind of see what goes from there. I can't really address that so much for you, Jen, but good luck with that. I mean, I really hope that the cysts don't grow and that hormones are maybe a way for you to reduce the cysts. But let's see I'm sorry, I don't have a really good answer for that. Let's see. Next question I have here: can yoga improve sleep and help with weight gain due to hormonal changes? So any physical activity can help improve your sleep and prevent any weight gain in perimenopause. Yoga in particular, because it doesn't stress your body so much, and it causes cortisol spikes as much as other options like, say, running. But be sure to be active every day by adding walking or other active movements between yoga classes. Like I said, you can add some strength training in there. I recently read that, I don't want to steer you away from running, but running and jumping or impact on the body is actually great for strengthening the bones. And that's very important during this time period as well. So here I found that research shows that it's often not enough an attention to portion sizes and hunger cues. So mindful, intuitive eating are part of a plan to help improve your sleep and to prevent that extra weight gain. Mindful of your alcohol consumption is also important, both for the weight and your sleep issues. It's recommended that less than 2 drinks per week. I noticed, and I don't know if anybody who's on live with me right now, I noticed that in my latter years that I don't desire to drink anymore, and that actually has really helped with weight gain or not gaining any weight. It's helped to kind of allow for more clarity, and so I don't know, check that out and see if that will actually help with you. So really, to improve your sleep, the weight gain, activity is so important. Being consistent in your and mindful in your diet, and eliminating things such as alcohol, smoking will actually help you as well. Ironically, that's also what she's been doing even before going through perimenopause, because that will really help your body. Another question I received here: how can yoga improve bone density and support bone health? So for this, I had to consult one of my friends, and she is a menopause specialist. And so I asked her, and so she said that any consistent physical activity can help improve your bone density, especially through yoga, because it improves your strength, your balance, and your flexibility. Think of this, that most people don't break a hip and fall. They fall and then break a hip. So being sure to be active every day by adding walking and strength training between your yoga classes helps to further support your bone health. And it helps you to get in what they say, experts say, is 150 to 300 minutes per week of activity for perimenopausal or postmenopausal women. And she finally said and suggested that to be sure that you're getting 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams of calcium between diet and exercise, and getting an adequate vitamin D in your diet for overall bone health. So again, I mentioned too, so here adding vitamins, your activity, sometimes some impact like jumping will help increase your bone density and bone health. Yoga definitely, especially if it works on some strength practices. But yeah, I think that when we think about perimenopause, menopause, you feel like, oh, I can't do it anymore. And that's just not true. I mean, I wouldn't say stop your yoga. I wouldn't say stop your power yoga. I wouldn't say stop your running. I say keep doing it and just listen to your body. We're not at any end point because we're in menopause. And I think that's where, especially when I had could go to no one for advice or friends for advice, I felt very not just confused, but sad. Like, what does this mean when, when you get your period, when you're young, it's like the indicator that now you're a woman, and then maybe you had children along the way, or you had a life along the way. Then all of a sudden you're going through this transition of perimenopause, menopause. What does that mean in a woman's life? And for a period, you're feeling very inadequate. Like, who am I anymore? And that's natural for us to feel that way. But it is also such an empowering time of our life, despite all these symptoms that we have to go through. Now that I'm postmenopausal and that other side of it, it's an incredible feeling to know that, to look back and think of where I've been and what I've done and where I can be now and where I'm going to take that even further. So we know that this is a tough period for us all. And it's a long period as well. Like I said, it can run from your 40s up until like your early 50s. So it's a long period of time of this transition, but it's, I don't want you to feel like you're alone. I felt very alone at this time, and that's why when Lauren had asked me to do this, and I felt like I was at a good time in my life to be able to present this and share and be with others, I want you to remember that you're not alone in this, and there are many ways for us to pull through this together as women. And here on Inner Dimension, it's through our practice, and we're going to use this as our way to feel connected and supported through this time in our lives. Does anyone have any that are here on live? You have any other additional questions or anything to add? Yoga poses for pelvic area healing. That's very particular. So there's a program, or there's a class in my program that is called Hip Harmony. It's not an aggressive class. It's a little bit more of a slower practice. So Jennifer, I would check that out and see if that actually helps you out. With your pelvic pain, just be very mindful as you're moving, not to force yourself, especially when it comes to opening up your hips. So just ease into that. But again, there's a class called Hip Harmony, so check that out. Does anyone else have any other questions on here? Feel free to just kind of jump on the comment section. But I know we just have you're welcome, Meg. I want you to know here, if you don't have any questions right now, feel free to just jump onto this community section that we have here on the Inner Dimension app and ask your questions there. Also too, once you start this program, there's also an additional journaling that is included with this. Journaling is a great way for you to just kind of write things out, to let your thoughts out. If something comes up during that journaling section that you want to reach out to the community and not just me, put it out here on this community app, and we'll see what we can do. Just again, like, come together and share our experiences together, because maybe I don't have all the answers, but maybe someone else out there that's going through it can also help you out. Kathleen, you say you use marine collagen. Yeah, marine collagen is great in order to help with your joint issues. So Anne says, sometimes I don't know if the symptoms are due to stress at work or because of perimenopause. Yeah, I know. There's no way to filter it out. I'm sorry. There's no way to say like, okay, I'm feeling this way because of work, or because at home, I have stress at home, or is this because of perimenopause? It's unfortunate. I wish there was some way to just say, to pinpoint it. But like anything with stress, whether you're experiencing it in your 30s, you experience it in your 60s, take the moment just to pause. One way I found to be very effective whenever I felt those feelings of stress or anxiety, and maybe you can't get to your mat, but maybe you can just simply take a moment, pause, sit where you are, breathe, or go for a walk. And a walk sometimes is a really great way to help reduce all those stress hormones or stressed feelings you have in your body and in your mind. But I'm sorry, you have stress at work. No one wants stress at work. No one wants stress at all. But thankfully, we know that we have our practice or methods and tools in order to help reduce that stress. All right, do we have any more questions out there? I know we got to kind of close up shop in a few more minutes, or in a couple minutes. But I do want to thank you all for just popping on here, and I hope I've addressed a lot of your questions, the ones that were kind of given to me ahead of time. I will also include a provider search on here. Again, this is mostly, I don't know if you'll be able to find it internationally, but for here in the United States, I can provide a link for a provider search through the Menopause Society to find a medical provider who actually specializes in menopause, and that will be also helpful for you on more of a medical side of that. So thank you again so much. I really hope you enjoy this program. It means so much to me. It's been, I've watched a few of the classes, and I'm so proud of it and how it's been put together, and I hope you enjoy it too. Reach out anytime, because I see you and I want you to feel supported, and we're in this together. All right, have a great day, everyone.